received the feedback that when I explained to that student 5 minutes, I didn't watch the whole class what we are doing. So they are going until a very particular behavior of you as a teacher when you are performing your job in the classroom. So basically, the thing here in teaching or in other relationship outside teaching is the perfection. You should be perfect as a teacher, as a collaborator, as a content deliver, as a friend, as everywhere you should reach out to the perfection. You should be able to offer opportunities, to be open-minded, to be very tolerant, and to find solutions to make things work. Um, this from this from this point of view, being teacher is kind of overwhelming because you should figure out and you should reflect every action that you are doing in the classroom, every contact, every conversation that you have, and to come to improve. Because they all the time, it's a whole team of administration that are coming all the time in the classroom to see how you improved until your last observation, what you did more. And that's so there are a lot of discussion at the same time. They don't get in the classroom and they order you. No.
Recording in progress.
And then after they give you feedback, and especially the feedback is for improving, so don't expect that they will come in your classroom and they will say, oh, you are a perfect teacher. I'm so excited to have you here at the school. No, they are coming to the classroom and they find all the time things to improve. And then they are coming back and back again to see if you did it. And they are discussing with you. They are asking you first, how do you think that moment worked for you? And you should be, of course, honest and you say, okay, I know what I'm saying. That moment wasn't perfect. I planned to do differently, but the reaction of the students was not as I expected. So how do you improve? What suggestions do you improve? After they listen, they will give you results. Another thing that is different in my country is a lot of training. They are doing a lot of training doing a lot of each week. Basically, they have, of course, a lot of personal school, but they are bringing trainers outside school, and they are thinking of different projects. How? For example, let them just listen and say, no, teachers go in those workshops one day and they are leave, and then when they come in the class, they are looking for you to do those grants. So from the point of view, I think the very active education and for my family, I heard many times when in Romania, our country has a good system of education. We don't need to improve it and we don't need to take from other countries because we are low, we are far away from the reality. And the challenges here are more difficult that we had in the classroom because if you don't work on yourself to be a good provider, to be all the time nice, to be all the time to let aside your pride and your vanity and everything and to provide solutions to make this work. So what I did here, I did the impossible. In Romania, for example, I work in a school when I 18 Olympics for Olympiad because it was many years and it is the highest level that we can do for teaching in but I thought that you have a question. Okay, but here I should make the impossible because my students weren't Olympics. My students were coming in the classroom. The system is very different. Because in Romania I have the same students from here I have a course that it lasts 1 year or it lasts 1 semester. So every time I have other students. So I should build very fast relationship. I should build very fast prerequisites because it's a lot of content. I heard all the time in my country voice of the parents, voice of the education, claiming that it's a lot of content and the content should be simplified. Here I didn't hear such voices. The content is very complex. There require a lot of skills in each hour. So basically, each hour you have an amount of content and amount of skills. And it's really challenging because you should reflect a lot how to deliver. By example, I'm teaching now advanced placement courses. That means courses from graduating students like 18 years that are going to college, like advanced placement calculus or physics. And it's a lot of content. For example, we are doing derivatives. Derivatives we are doing in 1 day. It's one single day for derivatives. Another single day is for chain rule. So we need in 10 minutes, for example, to come in front of the client with some resources that you prepare such that to make it the essential to reach out to the core of the content and then to let them to practice. So our classroom is divided during the last year was divided like that. Half of the class, like 35 minutes, you are teaching and you are explaining to the students, and the other 35 minutes a half students should practice, and you should be there to help them with their assignment. So what is different? I'm creating also a lot of resources because reading from we have, like, for example, integrated in this technology system that they have, we have amazing textbooks that are digitally integrated. But you cannot hover over that textbooks because I had to teach like 30 pages per day. For example, when it's a lot of work. Or in mathematics, could be 10 or 60. You cannot hover and read. That's why I'm researching all the time how to create research that contain that reach out to the core of information, how to adapt the content to the level of perception of the student. Because as I told you, they are coming with no algebra, right? So they don't have enough practice. For example, this is a blog comparing with my country when we are especially algebra. Because algebra was like here was taught algebra maybe 1 century ago. Now they are going on ideas, on main ideas. They are practicing. They are doing mathematics, but it's very I didn't hear anyone complaining. So they are very correct from his point of view. They have the discipline of the work, and doesn't matter how many challenges they have in their life. Because as I told you, the society is totally different. A lot of students, most of them, are working. So they are have a job and they are have those schools like 4 or 5 classes like my girls when they need to work to.
Hello, Andro. Please give you one question from Romanian. Please, Andro.
As we all know, and you said, actually it's important to be a good teacher. But what do we need to, what is it most important to become a good teacher? What skills, in your opinion, would be important? All of them would.
Yes, in my opinion, maybe I'm an old school, but I think that it's important to have that knowledge, to understand the knowledge. If you understand it, you are well prepared. Another feature that I think a good teacher should have is to have the desire to be available and to want to help, to want to find the way the things are working. And I learned here, being in United States, how to work on myself. So in Romania, I didn't have that challenge to work on myself because not because I was perfect, because these were the standards. But here, I had to confront myself with different realities, where my reality wasn't part of. My mindset was a totally different. So I had to look at me and to understand exactly how they are working, how they are communicating, how they are behaving, such that to be able to adapt myself and to accept the rules. Because if you are not part of to integrate in the system, it's hard to make things work. So that's why first is knowledge, second it's persistence, third is communication. You need to improve communication, and I'm not referring here only at English because this was the biggest challenge for me, talking English outside the classroom especially. But communication also in our language, how to how to deliver to the students in many forms the same content such that they need to understand because here every student is treated particularly. You need to address also to the students that have a visual understanding, to the students that has a kinesthetic understanding, and so on. You have to have multiple way to address to an issue. And also to have, I think it's important to have the availability and to be at their disposal. So here I am at their disposal. When they want tutoring, they don't come to office hours because they have different schedules. And I said to them, okay, I will be at your disposal. Just tell me when you are free and I will be for you there. And in this way, only with this kind of opening, I could manage to make an impact in my community and in my school. And what I appreciate here is that even I'm in the second year in that school, I have all the upper level on mathematics, and they appreciated my work in spite of my accent.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for the question.
Manuela, I have a question for you. This question directly comes from my principal. He's asking you, Mr. Mehmet Usta. In multicultural classes, in the name of cooperation between students, teachers, and school administration, what do you think the role should be? The role of the school administration should be to provide this cooperation in multicultural classes. What do you think? What's your opinion?
So So from what I noticed, from my experience here, my understanding here, the administration is always the bridge of communication that try to balance the teacher approaches, the teacher attitude, and the parents' attitude. And many times, and not many times, all the times, administration valued and put on the first place the student and the parent. And our attitude, our mindset is to be at their disposal. So they are not listening the parents, and of course they are listening the teacher. But they ask you at the final, how are you doing? What are you thinking? How you will make things work? They are asking you. They are telling the parents, of course, that part, but they are asking you, what are you doing for the English learner? What are you doing for the Hispanic people? I noticed that you have students that are struggling with your language. What assignment are they? I'm doing differentiation. I'm doing like 3 or 4 assignments each class that address to different levels of students in mathematics, different levels of communication, different levels of approaching the work, such that when a student cannot tell me, hey, the assignment is too difficult. No, you can't tell me this because you have a higher level assignment, you have another assignment that involves you only to solve some steps, you have another one that involves you to communicate. So there are different conceptions of the assignment that we are giving to the students.
Thank you. I have another question from our team, Turkish team. One of the biggest problems in recent years are immigrants and refugees that we have a lot in our country. And in our multicultural classes, what should we do? What is your advice to make these students a part of ours? What should we do? What do you think?
Yes, I think here, by example, also there is the same problem, but the word is persistent and consistent. I remember, especially that Black Voice Matter started in the United States. We did a lot of training, and we are doing this regularly. We have professional development. We have training in the school about mindset, bias, attitudes. How do we cope in different scenarios when we are approaching these students? Because there are different communities. They are coming, they have different mindset, they are eating differently, they are dressing differently, they are communicating differently. What we are doing to make things worse? And we have they have kind of trainings. We are doing a lot of trainings on this issue, on other issues are also how to behave in the place of working. So not only watching, they have also scenarios in this training, and you should be able to understand what's happening and to react corresponding to this scenario, because you have a sentence of this scenario. So basically, they are educating people bias, mindset, and attitude. They are unlocking, they are asking by this training, they are unlocking some mindset, they are asking pertinent questions, and they ask us to reflect. We submit work, we submit assignments about these issues. We analyze different, I told you, scenarios. We offer a different solution. They have, for example, videos, they call it, when they imagine a scenario in the classroom, how a student behaves. And they ask you to figure out a solution to intervene and to fix that problem. And of course, you should reflect and you should come with a solution that's working. So they are doing this all the time. And without these trainings, I can say for sure that doing this by myself, I couldn't figure out exactly what the problems are. But after we are doing this training, I start to understand and I start to cope better with what they are repeating all the time, relationship. Focus on relationship. When we start the course, if by example here, I have like this year I had 130 students. If I do not know their names in the first days, or I do not pronounce correctly their names in the first days, then the relationship that I want to create with that student will be damaged. So my first approach is to learn the student names. I'm going on Google Translate and other softs of pronunciation to pronounce correctly their names, to learn them, to address them, and you should be focused on and reflect on each kind of aspect that can create or improve a relationship. And if you are after you start the course, then it's hard to reach out to it and to him or to her and to try to build a relationship, because you may lose the student, the interest could decrease, and that will damage your outcomes in the classroom, your students' outcomes in the classroom.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. I hope I managed to answer a bit to your question. I know that I'm expanding because I'm trying to offer many details to understand how it is.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Happy to answer. Thank you for the question.
Manuela, maybe it's final time, because you say have next meeting at îi se apropie timpul. Scuze că vorbesc în română, dar
Da, nu pot să mai stau. Asta a fost ieri. Acum pot să mai stau.
e ok.
Da.
Ok, atunci întrebări. Mersi mult, Sălona. For all, Manuela is not problem with time in this day, because have possibility stay. Greek have question. Alexandra? Hear me, Alexandra?
Yes. Alex, do you hear me?
Yes, and Manuela maybe hear you.
I have two questions. First, how do we stimulate students' interest, and how do we integrate them in the learning process in cases where children are essentially cut off from the subject of mathematics and present significant gaps?
Okay. Sorry, the sound is broken up continuously. Would you repeat, please? I didn't
Yes.
hear.
How do we stimulate students' interest, and how do we integrate them in the learning process in cases where children are essentially cut off from the subject of mathematics and present significant gaps?
Okay, thank you. So it's also teacher work, how to attract students to learn. So I try here, I reflect, because I told you there are abstract concepts, especially in this upper level math, but also I taught math 2, I taught math 3, I taught pre-calculus, and now I'm teaching AP calculus, AP statistics. And why is difficult here? Because every day you come with a new content. You have, for example, trigonometry. I have like 10 classes. Algebra, I have like exponential equations, exponential logarithmic equations, also 10 classes, and so on. So you have to start from scratch, because the prerequisites are very vague, defined, and is normal, because having a lot of content, you don't give too much, and they don't have time to skill. So that's why I reflected how to do this, and I found an approach to be attractive to the student, and also to to help them to get to the core of the concept, I'm using a lot of visual. So, by example, I have a concept of continuity. I start to teach them visually on the graph. I have the concept of differentiability. I started on the graph. Of integral, I started with area. And all the concepts I translated in visuals because seeing the students can understand better. And I'm creating a lot of posters for the classroom because many times they don't remember the formula. Here, there is not much emphasis on learning formula. So that's why I'm creating posters with the relevant formula to have in front of them on the classroom. To not have the surprise that the student will tell me, hey, I don't understand what you are doing. Because usually they did this at the beginning many times. I don't get it. And that's why I started to write each lesson on the board and also to create posters because they can tell me that they don't understand. Look on the third row, there is the translation. Then look on the fourth row. So I'm using a lot of visuals. Then I'm very kind with the students and I'm very approachable. So I have the power, by example, to respect the deadlines and to say, hey, this was the deadline and you didn't submit, I'm sorry, I will not work for you guys anymore. But I'm not doing this. I'm offering opportunities for expansion until the last moment, even if this is a lot of work for me to go over the assignment and to grade their work and to check their work, especially on the deadlines. But they appreciate. So they are correct. They appreciate what you are doing. When they are convinced that you are caring about themselves, they start to appreciate and they start to give back to you. They are not so. As our students are in Europe, our students are more attached of their teacher. They are very fond of their teacher. Here it's more challenging. That's why you need to be almost perfect in order to appreciate. Then I'll start each class. In fact, it's like a framework here that it's working. Each class is starting with a warm-up that should be prepared. This warm-up would be a question from the last class, or usually it's something that prepares the new teaching. Then you start, could be a paper assignment, could be online assignment. They have a lot of software that you can use, and students like a lot to use technology. And multiple choice question, it's a big deal here with multiple choice question. It's not so much with free response question, but multiple choice questions are very appreciated. Then you start to teach, and when you teach, you need, as I told you, to reflect a lot of your content because you have 10 minutes. You don't capture their attention more than 10 minutes. They don't watch you and listen you. And you should be very focused exactly to transmit what is important, to come with some relevant example from that topic, because the emphasis is coming later when they need to work. While you're teaching, you need to have some checks for understanding. So I'm not speaking all the time. I heard this in the first years. Hey, don't speak 5 minutes. No. You come with the new part of the content. You have prepared a check for understanding for the students. This could be a slip of paper with some question when we were in the classroom. Now it could be also some questions that are on a soft, or could be some feedback that I have for them during the teaching, because if they are not participating, or they are not have a check for understanding exactly on the level that you taught, or the example that you taught before, it's not allowed here. So after these we are finished, then we have independent work, or could be group work. It's a much emphasized to encourage the group works, but in mathematics, basically, when you go to examine something, you need to have your personal skills. It's not about team collaboration. So we cannot use so much these group work each class because every student should work individually. But we have kind of moments of 5 minutes or of pair-to-pair discussion about the subject, or pair-to-pair questions, or also to solve together some task, another assignment that could be, by example, from literacy, vocabulary. So write the specific words for differentiation here that you encounter in that unit, or solve and compare these two examples and give us our result. And after this, they finally can work independently. It's like 70%, 60-70% of the classes are working independently in the second part. And like 30%, I can make some group work activities when they have like investigative tasks, or they can work together, but some assignment can be splitted only to split the work as a team. Specifically for mathematics, is to work individually. And when they are working individually, I'm next to them and to answer to the question, to help them to finish their work. And if I cannot reach out to everyone, then I'm stopping and I asking their attention at the board, like 1, 2, 3, eyes on me now. So, and I'm explaining the whole content there, if I'm on the board or if I'm remotely. Also, when we have breakout rooms, for example, to work in groups, it was hard to reach out each breakdown. So that's why we bring all the rooms back in the classroom and engaging them, as I told you, building a relationship, going to them when they need you, because many times they are like that. Come to me, come to me, come to me. You don't know where to go first. So here you should be very mindful how to reach out to all of them when they need you, when they have questions. And engaging, I'm trying to engage them using different assignments. So I'm not doing one single assignment for that class. In Romania, for example, it was, the board exposure of the teacher, or maybe a student comes to the board and solve a problem, and everyone are watching that part. Here is not like that. They are work independently, and this is what is required, the student to be confronted by himself with the challenges and to check how they are going by himself. So that's why it's kind of different setting, and you need to reach out to each of them, and you need to offer also different opportunities to prove their understanding and their work at different levels. And it's a problem because it requires a lot of preparation for a class. Warm-ups, just for understanding what to put on the table, on the board when you are teaching. The assignment, you should have at least 3 and kind of different. One, by example, could be, by example, on these courses, advanced courses. I have one assignment on college board website. They have some classrooms there. They have difficult problems for they preparing for exams. I have another type of assignment. It's called Delta Math. I don't know if you found it, or you can or you use Delta Math. But here it's free. This year school paid for Delta Math, because why this is working? Because here they show them solutions how to be solved. They have also videos incorporated. So if they will tell me, by example, I don't understand what you said. Okay, I will try to explain differently. But they have also another resource on Delta Math where they will find the explanation, the solutions, the videos, and they can solve. And I have done the third level of assignment that could be, I use Edpuzzle, although I use Edpuzzle a lot, because they have basically they learn the lesson again, and they have only a few questions incorporated. You can use quizzes for the third level. I can make, by example, a friar model where they will come with their creation about that topic, and this could address also to literacy, to some easiest exercises. So when they have different opportunities, then their struggle is not so high, basically, because otherwise could be very difficult. So in a way or another, we engage the students at higher level, middle level, or at a literacy level, but it's important that everyone to do something. And also with the grades, I'm very encouraging. By example, if they are coming with late work or they want to improve their work, they have this possibility in my course. So I allow them to do work. I allow them to do also extra work to improve their grades. So my main goal is to make them work, because many times I'm hearing, oh, the students can copy their answer their own. No, they don't have to copy, because they have in different places the questions are different. Finally, they need to learn. They need to study a bit to submit some work to have their grade up. And even if it was a lot of understanding during this remote period for the students, it was a policy with the grades. So before the remote learning, we have grade zeros, but now the grades are leveled down to a specific grade. But they need still to work, and they are interested to get that grade. And what it worked for me here, it worked my availability and my kindness, and there are many times they are testing you to see how are you reacting in different situations. They try to challenge you, to get you in the corner, and then to not to get advantage of this. But if they are noticing that you offer them, as long as you offer them opportunities, and as long as you are available for them, they are correct, and they start finally to work and to do their job. So that's why this is what I appreciated, what I noticed, my experience here.
May I carry out the second question?
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Are you in favor of creating classes based on student performance?
Would you tell me again, please?
Are you in favor of creating classes based on student performance?
Let me rephrase this to see if I am understanding correctly. Do you ask me if I'm in the favor of grading students?
Creating classes based on student performance.
Grading classes based on student performance?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Depends on level of the students. High level, medium level. Do you argue in favor of this?
Yes, the grade has a significance there. I mean, this is the rule. So the minimum grade here to fail is below 60. So there are 60, 80, 90, 90, 100. A, B, C, D, and the F levels. And of course, if they are doing late work, if it is a good quality work, I will give them credit. So I will don't minimize their credit if they are late with the work. Because I want them finally to have them to work this week or the next week, but as long as they work, I'm very open with this policy, and this counts a lot, because they don't basically they cannot mislead their performance. As I told you, I grade every assignment. So they can't have a good grade if they don't do each assignment. And each part is graded accordingly to their quality work. When they don't understand, they will tell, I need help here, when you are available for tutoring. And many times I had tutoring, especially at the beginning, I had a lot of tutoring until I will put them on the path. But yes, there are here also students that are failing the courses, that are the students that but they have different credits. They have, like mandatory courses that from where they take credits, and they have other courses they're not so many points, and they are not mandatory. So that's why it depends. I don't know exactly that system of credit, how it's working, but this year my courses was for advanced placement. And by example, if they fail the course, they affect their GPA, but they don't affect their graduation.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. I hope I manage. I'm not sure that this is what you wanted for me, or if you can ask me more in different terms to be sure that I understand.
Thank you,
May I?
Manuela. Maybe Italian or Bulgarian team have a question? Stanimira, Chiara?
Yes, Felix. Yes,
Okay,
yes. We have
thank you.
two questions. I don't know if we have time. Sandra, wanted
Yes,
to come?
yes.
Me too. Okay.
Io?
Sì.
Okay. I'm Sandra from Italy. It's a pleasure to meet you and talk to you. Well, what could we do as educators to instill in the minds of children the concept of coexistence, cooperation, and respect?
Yes, here also it's by example for they have academic classes, and they have kind of homerooms. They are called kind of counseling classes. And here on counseling classes, they have like common topics on the schools that refers to bullying, to harassment, and the teachers that are in the homeroom, they are doing this education. And usually in my classroom, for example, I didn't have problems of bullying between them, of harassment. And believe me, I'm in a school that it's challenge, in a challenge school. I'm not in a school where all the people have money and they don't have these issues. So, but I didn't notice because it's a huge discipline here, and they address to these things on a regular basis, on a daily basis, and all the time. So in my classroom, I have at the beginning problems with them regarding their attitude towards me, because they are trying to put me in the corner for my accent, pretending that they don't understand, I don't have the accent, and they don't get it. So that's why as I told you, I envision this strategy to come with the visuals, to write on the boards, because if the administration is coming in the classroom and you have the lesson in the boards and the formula that we are working on, you can't say that I don't understand, because you have there, so you can do this. So I try to get to eliminate this. And although they have a lot of personnel, when they are reserving the hour, they have, for example, there is a black button in each classroom. You can hit that button and the security will be in your classroom, and the student will be removed from your classroom, go to in a special room when you should send them the assignment, them to work, but they will not disturb your classroom. They will announce their parents. There are different levels when the administration is coming and intervene immediately to their attitude, so you do not have problems like this. Usually, I didn't try to hit the button many times, because you damage the relationship with the student. But many of them are very resistant and they are pushing you until that moment. And I did this, of course. I removed them many times. With most of them, I recovered the relationship, but I had some of them that were very resistant. But finally, I tried to improve my relationship with them with kindness. And this worked most of the time, kindness. So, and encouragement. I had students, although they had different issues in their life, and they coming in the school maybe to the end of them, and I said, hey, you can do this. You are smart. I saw you in the first month when you came in the classroom. Listen to me a bit, and you'll do it. Oh, no, they don't want, and they start to do it. At exam, they have the same, oh, wow, I didn't understand the classroom, what I'll do at exam. Hey, don't tell me this. I need you only to focus this, because I know that you are smart, and I know that you can eliminate wrong answers, and what I told you will help you. And then when I find them, when I met them after the exam, they were like, he was like 1 out of 5 months of school. He was in the school, and he did an 80 on exam. This is kind of big. He was so happy. That student, when meet me, he's so happy. His life was different since that moment on, because he proved themselves that he can do it.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hello, Manuela. Nice to meet you. I'm Chiara from Italy. Hello. Got two short questions for you, if it's possible. Okay, the first one is, how was your experience of teaching during the pandemic situation? If the didactic results were the same of teaching in presence? And the last one is, I'd like to know which are the differences between public and private schools in USA, if they offer the same opportunities to students. Thank you.
Welcome, thank you. So in the remote period, for me personally and honestly, was better because I didn't deal with interruption in the classroom. Having technology, I could meet the students, and this was the setting at the beginning of the classroom, so it was huge for me. In the classroom, they try to interrupt, some of them, not all of them. But I had in each class like 1 or 2 very difficult, the student that I should address him separately, and they were my first priority to create a relationship to not destroy my classroom, because they influence and destroy all the classroom. But when I started remote learning, I envisioned, and I was proactive with this, and I participate to all the professional development that they have available. So on technology, they have like universes from where you can learn. So I participate to learn about, my first priority was digital learning competency. A lot of digital tools they explained and they put at my disposal. So I make like in that month, in March last year, I make like about 15 credits. That is, a teacher should have here like 8 credits of professional development once at 5 years. So I make like 15 days and nights, because it was the first time when I stayed home and I had the time to learn technology. When I came here and I saw all that platform with all of the buttons, and I saw before in Romania only Microsoft Word, only PowerPoint and stuff. And I saw all of this, a lot of buttons. I was afraid what to hit or what to find information. And I spent a lot of time until I reached those learning management systems, how they are called. And when remote starting, I started with digital learning competency, and I learned a lot. And I learned a lot of, I found out a lot of source, attractive source with colors, with games, with stuff that I could in my classroom. And usually I avoid paperwork during the remote learning period. Only when I didn't have other opportunities, I had paperwork assignment, but I use a lot in mathematics. I use quizzes, Delta Math, I use Kahoot, I created a quiz on their learning management. I use also Lippity. I have a lot. If you want, I can share with you a document with technology that I use, and it is for free. And after the class, I will share with Felix, and he will transmit to you. And I hope it will be useful. And it was a great. Students like technology and like that you are a good professional and to manage the classroom, and they respect this. And that's why I try to get this gap, and I manage now. Now my colleagues are calling me, hey, you are the queen of technology. So I feel yes, and I'm so proud that I can do this. But it's although they are, I think that the research that I will send you will help you.
Thank you.
And the second question, sorry.
Okay. The second question is which are the differences between public and private schools?
Yes.
If they offer opportunities to students.
I do not know the public schools the private sector very well, but in the public schools, what I know here in public school, they have huge incomes compared with private for teachers. This is what I know. But although for opportunities, I do not know exactly what happened on private. I'm sorry, I cannot happen. But also here on public school, they have opportunities. They have a lot of scholarships. The college is very expensive here, but they have a lot of scholarship. Students are going based on these scholarships to follow the college. This is what I know. The only thing that I know.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Mina, Hermi, Bulgarian team.
Okay, I have just one question. What is the best approach? What we can use in our work in order to improve the knowledge and the learning of the kids with learning difficulties?
Yes, so here what I use here, I connected with students separately in tutoring. So tutoring is part of the teaching job, these office hours. And I connect with them at the beginning, and I try to put them on the path. And then I assign them not very, very difficult. That's why I have different levels of assignments, because as long as students is, the assignment is at the level of the students, a bit up than the level of the student, but not very difficult, the student will try to work. But if it is only one assignment for everyone in the classroom, and that assignment is challenging, they will abandon it. It's important to give them the opportunity to prove themselves and on their level, and then to start to improve. I know it's a lot of working here, but I did this because I wanted, of course, to succeed here and to be successful in an environment that was totally new, totally challenging, and although the language was a big issue because of the accent. I'm telling derivative, they tell derivatives. I'm telling integral, they tell integral, and so on. So I think the best approach is to address to the level of the students, to change the wording separately with each student. And as I told you, my main approach is based on visuals. I'm reflecting how to teach every content visually. By example, I'm teaching mean value theorem or Lagrange theorem, as it is known in Europe. I'm not showing the formula, I'm teaching graphical. First, then I'm coming with the formula. What is different here in math, outside the fact that it's a lot of content, so it's a lot of content. They have, by example, they study a lot of functions. Functions, there are like 80% of their curricula. So on functions, they have 4 approaches. They study functions on graphs, on algebraic equation, on tabular, using tables, and also on wording, using words on real life problems, that using mathematical modeling. And apparently you said, okay, we are doing this in Romania also. Yes, we are doing this in Romania, but at the middle age level. I remember in Romania our problems, and I always criticize this. We had problems with hen and rabbits, how many feet they have, how many heads they have, and stuff like it. It's not possible in 21st century. Here they have problems from every domain, every science, from psychology, from engineering, from aviation, from communication, from aviation, and so on. And believe me, it's a huge burden to teach every concept, because basically you cannot teach. When you teach the concept, I try to teach graphically, and then I go to equation. But then the challenge is coming when it's going in tabular form, when it's going in wording problems. So this could be also an idea to how to help them, the students, to understand the concept, to teach them on different settings. I know that this will be contradictory with your time that you have in the classroom, will be also contradictory with the goals of your state exam, of your country exam, because you know we are redirected, and it's normal from the benefit of the kids to be very confident on the framework of the exam, and the framework, and if it is the framework, it's algebraically, then we emphasize algebraically the concept, because you want the student to be successful at exam. So that's why basically our delivery is shaped by the state policies and district policies, but especially the state policies with the exam, in my opinion. So our degrees of freedom to take decision on how to teach a concept in the classroom is very limited by the framework of this exam. Here in the United States, what I like about mathematics is because they open the settings form, and you can teach the students differently and in parallel. Look on the tabular, how it's looking, look on the graphs form, how it's looking, look on the equation, and connect all of them. Look how we mathematical modeling. That's why teaching is, like, in my opinion, it's different than any other profession. It's very challenging. It's a continuous change. It takes a continuous reflection and a huge leadership from the teacher.
And the final short question, Andro.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you for the question.
Andro, hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
In the final, thank you very
we
much.
all know that students need to understand why they are learning is useful behind the classroom. So how would you connect your lessons to the real world?
Here, my work is easier from this point of view, because they have a lot of application everywhere, and I can find models. And when I'm explaining a concept, I'm starting from a real life. But I have the opportunity and the blessing to find and to read these models before in textbooks, and because they have amazing textbooks. They are very expensive, and not everyone and every district has textbooks to provide to students. But by example, my first textbooks are here on AP classes, and they are huge support. I had also textbooks as a teacher before to read and to find these examples to come in front of the students. And many times when I'm thinking, I'm referring, of course, I'm focusing on money, on business, on health, because a lot of them want to be surgeons, how to model using a differential equation, a treatment that you administer to a patient and stuff like this. So I'm knowing and I'm targeting exactly what they are interested here, the areas with these examples. And the benefit is that they have these examples. If you search, you find these examples on textbooks, but they have also online. You can rule a Google search and you can find examples, but it requires a lot of work. And coming with this, I capture their attention. Especially, I told you, surgeons, sports, and business and finance. Here are them. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manuela. O să vorbesc și în română. Îți mulțumesc foarte mult pentru că ai fost alături de noi și mulțumesc mult încă o dată.
Da, mulțumesc și eu și a fost o bucurie să le văd pe toată lumea. Da. Și să încerc să spun ce am trăit aici și ce am simțit.
Poți vorbi, scuză-mă puțin, poți vorbi în engleză.
Okay. So it was a great joy to connect with you, and I hope that I managed to answer a bit and to transmit from my experience here. And as I told you, I learned here a lot of things in mathematics, on strategies, and how to work on myself in classroom for creating relationship with students, for creating relationship with administration. Everything here is the mindset that every relationship is the outcome of a hard work from both parts. And most of the parts, it's our part as a teacher, because most of the time we don't have the part from the students, so that's why we put a lot of work here. And I wanted also to try to tell you some differences, some mindset that are influencing our teaching, and I hope it will be a bit useful.
Manuela, sorry to interrupt, but I have one more question. I think it was Alexandra's question. You talked about creating classes according to student performances, and you said you are in the favor of it. What age group are you talking about? Do you advise this for smaller kids or older ones?
So about grading, let me tell you another approach. I'm not sure that I'm understanding exactly what you refer to. So about the pattern of the student is very different than in my country. In Romania, all the students of the same age are in the same class, and you are going with them, and you compare them, they are similar. Here they are different. By example, in mathematics, they have Math 1, Math 2, Math 3, Math 4 mandatory courses. Some students had Math 1 in their 7th grade in middle school. Other students can have this course in their 9th grade in high school according to their level. They fail this Math 1 course, by example, they will take this course the next year because they cannot pass to Math 2 if they don't take the Math 1. And the grading here is not only the part of the teacher, of course, but also they have a huge pressure for exams. In Romania, we had exams once at 4 years. Here, they have exam on each course at the end of the semester. And it's a serious exam. In Romania, I counted now, by example, for baccalaureate, we have 18 questions in 3 hours. Here, in 3 hours, they have 45 multiple choice questions in 90 minutes. So it's like 2 minutes per question. And some of them are very hard. It's impossible to almost to read them to make sense. Some of them are shorter, but anyway, it's very challenging. 45 and another 6 questions, at least 3, 4, or 5 items to each question. So another 24, let's say an average of 24 questions, 3 response questions. Again, 24 3 response questions in 90 minutes. So to take this exam, you should be very trained, very skilled. And they have some questions on TI-84, Texas Instruments 84. It's a calculator that they use on a daily basis. When I came here, one of the biggest struggle was TI-84 because in Romania we had only 4 function calculators. Here you need in TI-84 to calculate derivatives in a point, to calculate integrals over an area, to find the minimum, the intercept, and you should be very able. They are hovering over the calculator like this with their finger. I was going, even now I'm going slowly. I'm not going very fast. So that's why it's very challenging. You should train a lot to reach out to this level. It's exhausting. It's much harder than paperwork.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The
Turkish,
Romanian team?
maybe good because it's late, good, see bye-bye, and also because I need see you tomorrow. It's okay?
Okay, tomorrow we are going to see the presentations of each school in this project, and we are going to see the presentations